This is TWiT.
All right. Well, there is another place that people are thinking about putting Linux servers, and that is we are literally thinking about sending them to space. Well, we've already done that. But every one of those Linux servers in space is something of a bespoke solution. So you've got companies like SpaceX that run their rockets with Linux. The laptops in the International Space Station are running Linux and have for a while now. Reportedly because they couldn't keep viruses off of them when they were running Windows. I don't know if that's entirely true or not, but it's a great story, and I'm going to stick with it. Then there is, of course, one of the Mars rovers, the helicopter, Inspiration, I think it was called, or Endeavor. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of it. But famously ran Linux. And but each of these, it's been sort of a start from scratch and build your own Ingenuity. It was Ingenuity. Start from scratch, build your own Linux OS. Well, there's a group that is looking at changing this. And so at the Open Source Summit in Japan, Ramon Roche, general manager of the Drone Code Foundation, talked about this, and that, Linux is quickly becoming the standard for space. But that there's no sort of unified approach to this, and so now there's a group that is looking into this. Like, let's take a look. What can we do? Can we make a standard Linux core, built on top of one of the something like Yocto Linux or Open Embedded, and then can we add board support infrastructure as a layer in there, and then have a mission-specific user space running framework at the top? That is their goal, and they call it Papermoon. So that it's a really interesting name. I'm not sure exactly where that comes from, but there is now a working group that is looking at Papermoon as a possible standardized Linux, not really a distro, sort of a distro, more like a toolkit, you would say, for doing this sort of space Linux stuff. One of the other really interesting things from this is that Microchip actually has a radiation tolerant SoC. It's called the MP SoC, which seems to be running RISC-V. But yeah, it's really fascinating to me that they are looking at doing this. I'm trying to see if this is a Linux Foundation project. Project has been incubating inside the Linux Foundation's ELIZA working group, the Enabling Linux in Safety Applications. And so, yeah, they are tied in with the Linux Foundation. But again, I think it's a neat that this is becoming sort of a standard. Linux is becoming the space standard. We're going to the moon and other places. I think it's pretty cool.
Linux is a standard for everything. Why not for space?
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not?
Yeah, it's like the old trope. Linux run. Oh, look, I found Linux running on this. Oh, look, I found Linux running on that. And then people just stop because it just runs everywhere.
Just runs everywhere. It's true. In some cases, literally on your toaster.
And on your TV, as you said earlier.
With this,
yeah.
Trying to think, how many different versions of Linux have been, or distributions of Linux have been used for various space programs?
Well, so you've got, I think it's Debian that they put on the laptops in the International Space Station. And I don't know if it's still Debian there, if they've gone through different distros. And then there's whatever was on Ingenuity, the helicopter. And then, every other space launch supplier that puts it on their rockets, like SpaceX has something.
Yeah, and then whatever was on that
one. Was that a Red Hat or Fedora?
I doubt it. I guess it's possible in some cases, but I'm not familiar with Red Hat or Fedora going into space.
This is a question for you NASA listeners out there. Let us know.
Yeah, which Linux distros have been to space? It's a great question. If you enjoyed this clip, be sure to check out the Untitled Linux Show. You can find us in your favorite podcasting app or subscribe to our YouTube channel down in the links below. See you there.